There we go. Welcome, everyone. So today is TikTok Tuesday, also on Facebook. We'll be answering any immigration questions that you have. So if you have them, enter them into the comments below in Facebook or in TikTok, and we'll get to those. My name is Mercer Cawley. I'm a partner here at Cawley Forsyth and a board immigration specialist here in North Carolina. And today I am joined, as always, with Raquel Fernandez.
Hi, everybody. It's great to be back on TikTok Tuesday. So, yeah, we're live on TikTok and we're also live on Facebook. You guys can go ahead and leave your questions here in the comments. We like to do this every week. We do one live in English and one in Spanish to make sure that everybody has their voices heard. So go ahead and leave your questions here in the comments. We already have a lot of really great questions, so we're excited to get started.
Absolutely. And as we were saying, TikTok Tuesday is in English, and we also have a version of Facebook Friday, which is also on TikTok as well, and that will be in Spanish. So if you would prefer to hear much information about immigration and answer some of the questions.
Absolutely, and we have a really great question to get started with, and this question comes from Elise, and she asks, how long does it take for me to get my papers or my green card after getting married to my husband? So she didn't say if her husband was a citizen or a resident.
Okay, well, Elise, as Raquel was pointing out, that different times will be there for different relationships. So if you're married to a citizen, it has a different time than if you're married to a permanent resident. So for the purposes of this question, I would just make an assumption that you're married to a U.S. citizen and you're in the United States and you entered with a visa. So in those situations where you're married, you entered with a visa and as a U.S. citizen, you have to file the entire packet. So your husband will file one, then you will file for the green card. Right now, what we're seeing is once you get that filed, it is taking about a year before you get the interview, because there's always an interview at the end of the process. So I'm going to say it's about a year. But again, if your situation is different than what I just described, maybe put a little bit more information there and get it to Raquel so that we'll know exactly what your situation is.
Absolutely. You guys can continue to leave the comments. Like if we address something and we say, well, we don't know if this or that, you can give us some more information and we'll try to read that as well. And another really great way to make sure that we know all the details is to set up a consultation, and we offer free consultations. I'm actually going to leave a comment with the number, and the number is also listed on CF Immigration's page, so you can go right over here to CF Immigration, give them a follow, and see the phone number there for a free consultation. The phone number is 704-522-6363.
Very nice. And I'm going to take off my glasses. The sun just came out, and so it's glaring everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also have a question. Do you have any questions over there you want to get to?
I don't see any right now.
I gotcha. Okay, so I have one from Juan Carlos, and he asks, or he states, my residence was approved, and they asked for evidence of the good faith relationship or good faith marriage.
Okay.
I guess his question is how to address that when you get maybe an RFE asking for more evidence.
Sure. So whenever an application is filed, the government can come back and say, we need more evidence. When they do that, they'll be specific and say, this is what we need, this is what we're trying to see, and this is what you have to send in to prove. In this situation, it sounds like the government is saying, we need more information to prove that your relationship is real. And what they mean by that is when you entered into marriage, that you didn't do it because, sorry, I'm getting phone calls. you didn't enter into the relationship just for immigration purposes, that you entered into the relationship because you're in a relationship together and you wanted to be together. So this would be documents. It could be documents that prove that you have financial accounts together, bills together, a lease, pictures, affidavits or statements from friends and family. So those are the types of things that they're asking for typically. Without seeing the request for more evidence, an RFE, without seeing it specifically, I can't tell you exactly what they want, but that's usually the type of things that they're looking for.
Yep, and that's really great information because when you get an RFE, it gives you a deadline as well, so you have to stay on top of that to make sure that you send in the evidence before that deadline. And if you guys have any questions specifically, you already know where to find the phone number right over here for a free consultation. Click on the profile. I also have a question here from Nora, and she says that something expired. Let's see, I think it's her work permit. And she's wondering about an extension, what she can do to get it extended.
Sure. So for a work permit, if it expires, typically what you have to do is you have to file for another work permit. Work permits, when you look at it, it will have an expiration date depending on how you got it. If you were doing it through DACA, if you were doing it through a U visa. So there are a lot of different ways that you get a work authorization card. So sometimes they're good for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. So you have to look at your card. Once it expires, you have to file, and we recommend that you do it before, but you have to file a new application to get it renewed. So like I was saying, whatever status you were in that gives you the card, you'll need to show that you're still in that status. So for instance, a U visa shouldn't expire, the work authorization, because it should be good for 4 years. But if for some reason it expired, you would have to send it in, show that you're still in U visa status, and ask for a new card. Now, there are some categories that just by filing for a renewal, it is automatically extended. So it depends on what category you're in because each one is different. But for instance, asylum, if you're getting your card because you have an asylum application pending and you file for a renewal, it is extended for an additional amount of time. But without knowing exact category, it's hard to say if yours would be extended. But if it's already expired, it won't be extended. It has to be filed before it expires.
Yep. And we've gotten a lot of very similar questions, and we get these kind of questions a lot, where someone's asking, I've been in the U.S. for X amount of years. So this person is saying they've been here for 20 years. How can they obtain their green card? We also have someone else who is saying, I've been here for 10 years and I have a U.S. citizen son. Is there any way for me to get a green card or some type of work permit?
So let's deal with the son first. We'll talk about the son. So if you have a U.S. citizen son and your U.S. citizen son is over the age of 21, cannot file anything for you until they turn 21, it is possible that you may be able to get a green card. Part of it's going to depend on how you entered the country. If you entered with a visa, even if now you've overstayed that visa, but your initial entry was with the visa and entering into the United States, then once he is 21, he can file for you for your green card. If he's under 21, can't file. And then also if you entered without a visa, what's called entering without inspection, then you won't be able to do a one-step get your green card here in the United States. And it becomes a little more complicated, especially with the son, because children, on a different topic, children can't help you get a waiver. But if you need a waiver, that we can have that conversation. Now, just by entering the United States and being here for a long period of time, that by itself doesn't get you either a green card or a work authorization card. So you would have to have some way to obtain that. And for green cards, that's usually through family members. It can also be done through businesses. Other types of things, if you've been here for 20 years, depending on your age, You may be eligible for DACA, but you had to enter the United States before your 16th birthday and have to meet some other requirements. So there has to be some link to an application or to some type of status in order to get a work authorization card. And like I said, the green card has to come through some type of relationship, either a business relationship or a family relationship.
Absolutely. And if you want to give us a call to see if you qualify for anything, because obviously it's very broad to speak about, we need more information to see if you do qualify for any of this type of relief, you can give us a call at 704-522-6363 for a free consultation. We also have a question here from Jacqueline, and she's asking, what is the salary requirement for somebody to petition for you? So I think she's asking about co-sponsors or sponsors. So that's a really good question, Jacqueline, and that's actually listed on a website. If you go to uscis.gov and you just search I-864, it'll take you right there directly to see the household size list along with the minimum that they would have to make. So let's say if your sponsor is an active duty in the U.S. Armed Forces, petitioning for their spouse or child, and it's a household of 2, the minimum would be $17,420. For all other sponsors, the minimum would be $21,775. So there's a list there. The household size would be the sponsor, the person they're petitioning for, and any other dependents listed on their taxes as well. And you can go there and look. If you have any other questions and you need help with that, you can also give us a call.
Great information, absolutely. And that there's a sheet that they publish every year that Raquel was just quoting, and they'll update it every year so that you'll know exactly how much you have to make.
Yep.
Now we just had a question come in through TikTok. It says, if someone goes out of the country to get married, can't they bring their partner? So the answer is yes, that if you go out of the United States and you're a U.S. citizen and get married, there is a petition, a way to bring your partner with you or your spouse with you. But it will take some time. So the first step is going to be you have to file a petition here in the United States. It's called an I-130. That one petition, once it's approved, then it'll go through a process to where it ends up in the U.S. consulate where your spouse is located. They go to an interview, and then they're let into the country. There is a way to do it quicker. It's called a K3. K's, if you're familiar with it, K's what people usually think of as a fiance visa, but that's a K1. A K3 is when your spouse is out of the country, you can file this to try to bring them in quicker. And because with COVID, sometimes it speeds up, sometimes it slows down. Right now, that K3 process is faster than the first process I described. So you file the first step, then you can file for the K3 and bring them in. But yes, you can bring them in.
Yep. And we also have a question here from Gabby, and she said that she applied for a U visa in 2019. How long is the wait period or the processing times? So Gabby, right now, it's taking about 6 years. That's what we're seeing with our current clients for the U visa itself to be approved. And you can also keep track of that by looking at the processing times online on uscis.gov as well. Yep. Well, thank you so much, Attorney Mercer, once again, and thank you to everyone who left a comment. Thank you for everyone who watched. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you again later this week.
Okay. Thanks, Raquel.
Bye.
Bye-bye.